Hello YouTubers, welcome back to my channel. Mike here. And a while back I put out a video of me doing some sluicing and panning out on the Fairplay beach in Fairplay, Colorado, and getting some gold. And unfortunately that got cut short by the weather. Bad thunderstorms rolled in and I had to evacuate from the creek. So I didn't get all that much stuff run through my sluice. But I do have the concentrates from sluicing here. They've dried out, they've had a chance to dry out. It's been a couple weeks since I was out there. So what I want to do today is I want to clean up these concentrates and see how much gold is in them. So this is the stuff that stayed in the sluice. This is maybe two and a half bucketfuls of material I dug out of a really rich hole there beside the North Platte River along the Fairplay beach. So I want to clean this up and see how much gold we got. Now this is something I don't normally do out on the creek anyway. Normally I bring my concentrates home with me and I deal with them later, because panning out concentrates is a fiddly slow process and it takes away from your time out in the field. Time out in the field's precious, you know. I didn't even spend a whole day out there on Fairplay Beach because I got there late the first day, didn't find a good spot at first. Second day, found a good spot, but it got cut short by weather. So, you know, time in the field is precious. So I normally don't bother trying to clean up my concentrates on the stream. I normally bring them home with me and do them at home. So that's what we're going to do today. I'll show you that process, cleaning up the concentrates. And that's going to start with sieving. Gonna sieve out all the oversized stuff because the gold I was finding out there was pretty small. I mean, we'll make sure there's not a nugget in there, but I think that's pretty unlikely. Nugget or picker. I think it's pretty unlikely, but we'll start by sieving out this stuff and getting down to a much finer material, which is going to be easier to pan away. And leave the gold behind, and I'll explain why as we go. So I got a couple of sieves here, and I'm just going to start out with this coarse kitchen sieve. I don't even know what mesh this is. It doesn't really matter. It's just going to screen the big rocks and stuff out. That's really all I want to do, is get the big rocks and stuff out. Let everything else go through. And we'll look through this just to make sure we're not throwing away a picker or a nugget. I think it's, like I said, really unlikely. Okay. Because all that gold I was out finding out there was pretty small. Yeah, if you watch the video, which by now I should have a link in the upper right too, you'll see most of what I was finding out there was pretty small, like flour gold size. Towards the end though, I was finding a lot of it in the pan, which is why I decided to go to the sluice so I could catch the bulk of it. Okay, so we've got this sieve down to kitchen sieve size. This is what wouldn't go through the sieve, and this is what did go through the sieve. So next, I'm going to grab my 30 mesh sieve, which is quite a bit finer than the kitchen sieve, and we're gonna sieve this stuff through the 30 mesh sieve into another pan. And the reason I'm doing all this is called classification, where you're classifying the material by size, okay? And this is important to get good gold separation from the material. Okay, so there we got our three different classifications of material. Sieving is called classifying. And the reason we do it is to make it easier to separate the gold from the waste material, okay? Now, the way panning works, and why it works, is because gold's going to be about the heaviest mineral in here, by far. It has a density of 19 grams per cubic centimeter. None of these other minerals are anywhere near as heavy. So if you work the pan right, you wind up getting the heavy stuff, including the gold, to stay in your pan while you wash away the light stuff. Okay, easy enough, right? Well, once you get down to doing concentrates, what you've got is the heavy stuff that stayed in your sluice. So pretty much all of this, except for some of this lighter rock here, is all pretty heavy. It's not near as heavy as gold, but still it's heavy enough it's going to interfere with you getting the gold out. Say you got a piece of gold of some arbitrary size in here. All right, 19 grams per cubic centimeter is its density. And then you got some rock in here that's, say, 6 grams per cubic centimeter. Okay, they should separate pretty easily when you're doing a gravity separation with a pan, you would think, right? But, you know, what if the gold is really small and the rocks are about 3 times as big? Okay, so suddenly the rocks weigh about as much as the gold. But since the gold is small, even a rock that's 3 times bigger doesn't have enough surface area on it to really make much of a difference in the way it behaves in the water. So it's not going to separate cleanly from the gold. The gold and those rocks that weigh 1/3 as much but are 3 times bigger than the gold, they're going to hang out together. And it's going to be very hard to separate them. So by classifying the stuff, sieving it, what we're doing is we're getting stuff that's all roughly the same size together. Like, okay, the stuff in this pan, this is the stuff that went through the kitchen sieve but didn't go through the 30 mesh sieve. All this stuff is roughly the same size. If there's any gold in here, it should stay in the pan really easy, and all this other stuff will wash away. So over here, you know, this is the stuff that went through the 30 mesh sieve. So we've cleaned out everything big. You know, there aren't any big grains in here. So hopefully we can pan out the flour gold that's in here much easier than we could if all this other stuff was still mixed in. Because there's going to be a lot less stuff in here that's roughly the same weight as the gold. Now I could go to finer and finer meshes on this, and if I have trouble panning this, I may do that. I may dry it out and go to a finer mesh. But we'll see how I do with just 3 classifications. You know, I'm not really expecting to find any gold in here. If I do, I'm going to be lucky because it's going to be big gold. Might or might not find any gold in here. I think almost all the gold's going to be in here, in this really fine stuff. So anyway, that's the purpose of classification. It makes it easier to get the fine gold out. So let me get a big tub of water and we'll start panning and we'll see what we get. Alrighty, let's get moving here. So this is my favorite pan for cleaning up concentrates. It's a little beat up. I need to get a new one. We'll start with the big stuff first, which I really don't think there's going to be any gold in this. Like I said, if there is any gold in here, it's going to be big gold. Going to be pickers. Didn't really see any pickers when I was out there. It's possible caught some in the sluice, don't know. I guess we'll find out here pretty shortly. This shouldn't take long to pan out. There's not much material here. Not seeing anything yet. Don't really expect to till I get down to the nitty-gritty here. The last little bit. Some shiny mica flakes, but they'll fool you every time. Let's see what we got here. Nope, no gold. Not a trace of gold. But I wasn't expecting to find any in this. I just got a really funky mica flake there. This piece of busted quartz. What's that? Nah, not gold. No gold. Alright, no gold in the oversized stuff. I wasn't expecting to find any there. Alright, let's go down to the next classified size. This is the stuff that went through the kitchen screen, but wouldn't go through the 30 mesh screen. And we'll try panning it out and see what we get. You know, if there's gold in this, there's probably not much, because most of the gold I was seeing was really fine out there. There was a lot of it, but it was really fine, you know. I'll put a link to a video I have on how to pan. It's kind of an old video now. My style has probably changed a little bit, but Yeah, I'm not going to do a tutorial on panning in this video, but I'll put a link to a tutorial I did many years ago. It's simple. You just get the material thoroughly wet, you agitate it with the pan at a tilt. You want to agitate the heavy material down to the corner of the pan there at the bottom, and then you just want to gently wash off the lighter material. Get rid of it. And it's a pretty easy process to pick up. It just takes a little practice. You'll get really good at it in a fairly short time. Okay, let's see if there's any gold in here. Some black sand. Ah, you know what? You know what? There is a little bit of tiny flour gold. It's not going to show up on the camera. It is so tiny. Somehow it stayed in this stuff. It didn't go through the screen. Maybe I didn't agitate the screen enough. But up in this fine stuff up in here, I don't know if even the fine stuff is showing up in the video. There is a little tiny bit of flour gold, but oh my God, those are such tiny specks. I see 1, 2, 3, I think, little tiny specks of flour gold in there. So get them up with the snuffer bottle. So that's the kind of stuff we're going to see in the next fraction. You know, that's the kind of stuff we're going to see in the next fraction. Let me just suck that right up. We'll clean out the snuffer bottle later too. So, okay, let me swirl it around here and look and make sure I actually got it all. I'm a little bit surprised that any made it through. Yeah, there's another little speck up there. So little, it's really not going to amount to anything, but still, we'll suck it up. Okay. Alrighty. So there's that. Now, in the we're down to this stuff here. So this is where I expect to find the bulk of the gold, right here. Going to be a whole lot of little bitty flour gold. That's probably not going to show up on the camera. I will try to once we have it panned out, I will try to get the camera really close up in macro mode and see if we can get any pictures of that flour gold once I can see it in the pan, because it's really tiny, but there's probably going to be a fair amount of it in this stuff. So, and since I'm expecting a fair amount of gold in these concentrates, I'm going to be a little bit more gentle with my washing here. And stop a little more often and agitate. So this may take a little while. I might cut to the end just to save you from having to watch the whole thing. Because like I say, I'm gonna be gentle, because I expect there's a fair amount of fine gold in this pan. Okay, I've reduced the material some. Getting down, there's a lot of black sand in this pan. A lot of black sand. A lot of magnetite, hematite. Which is typical, because that's a heavier mineral. You know, aside from the gold, it's one of the heavier minerals you're going to come across out there. So your sluice is going to catch a lot of it. So that's the stuff we got to separate the gold from, because it's probably the second heaviest mineral in the pan here, unless we got some garnets in there too. Which I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few garnets. I saw some garnets in the pans when I was doing my test panning. So we're getting down to the heavy minerals, though. Every time I agitate it, though, the remaining blonde sand comes to the top, and I'll wash it away, and then we'll see the darker black sand underneath. See how that's getting darker? So, alright, I got a little more to go before we have any chance of seeing any gold. So I'll be back. Oh, we're getting down to it now. I don't know if that's showing up. We're almost all black sands in there. Hardly any blonde sand left. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. Now, another advantage of doing your concentrates at home rather than on the creek is you can pan into a tub like this. I suppose you could take a tub with you and do it out on the creek too. But you know, if I think I've lost any gold, I can always repan all the material in this tub real easy, you know. If you're out on the stream and you're trying to pan down your concentrates in the moving water and you lose your gold in the water, you'll never get it back. So, you know, it's one of the advantages of doing this at home. Also, you know, if I had a lot of concentrates, if that bucket had been just, you know, 2/3 or 3/4 full, rather than doing this by hand with a pan, I'd get out my little cleanup sluice, my mini cleanup sluice, and run it. It's just a little bitty sluice with a recirculating water pump and really fine ripples in it. And I would use it for cleaning up the concentrates rather than doing it by hand over here. But you know, we just had a little bit. It didn't even fill the pan up. So, you know, I will just go ahead and do this by hand and we'll see what we get. Yeah, there's something going on. I heard them rolling all the emergency equipment out. There were a lot of sirens. Sounded like ambulances, fire trucks, maybe cop cars, and now I hear a helicopter circling, so there's something going on somewhere. Probably a bad car accident, I would imagine. Okay. Be back when I can see the gold, which shouldn't be too much longer. We're getting down there. Okay, when you're washing the light stuff off, you got to stop as soon as you see a speck of gold. And it's probably not showing up on the camera, but there's a speck of gold right there, and there's another one over there. So you got to stop washing at that point and re-agitate and get the gold back down at the bottom. We're getting close to where we can actually see and try and separate the gold from this stuff. We're getting close. Got rid of almost all the blonde sands, got rid of a lot of the black sands, just very gently washing the top layer of black sands off, and stop as soon as you think you see a piece of gold so you don't accidentally wash it away. Be very gentle in these later stages. Take your time. These are concentrates, remember. So there's going to be a lot of gold in here. This isn't a random shovelful you dug out beside the stream. This is concentrates. So we're going very slow, very carefully. Washing the black sand out, keeping an eye out. Okay. So, I think that's about as good as I can get. We've got a lot of black sand left in the pan, and the gold is in there underneath it somewhere. So it's just a matter of very gently washing the black sand back until you start seeing gold. A little water in your pan and gently rock it back and forth. Wash the black sand back, and then see, this stuff's going to stay there now. All this stuff down here doesn't have any gold in it. I could just dump this in here like this and wash it away, get rid of it. Get a little more water in the pan. Re-agitate this stuff down, and then just keep doing that. Gently wash the black sand back. Now we're leaving the gold up in here, and we're washing the useless black sand back to the bottom of the pan here, and then we can just get rid of it. Every time I do that, I'm concentrating the amount of gold in the top of the pan. I love this particular pan for doing concentrates. It's just the right size. It's really easy to work. So there's some more worthless black sand we'll get rid of down there. A little water in the pan, a little agitation. And we'll just keep washing stuff back. Eventually we should start seeing the gold. I think it's pretty well stratified to the bottom corner of the pan there. Yeah, not seeing any peek out yet. Thought I did, but it was just a shiny crystal of black sand. But we'll get there eventually. Yeah, there we go. There's some gold peeking out right up there in that top corner of the pan. So it's time to re-stratify. As soon as you start seeing gold, re-stratify. You don't want to wash it down. See how the amount of material in the pan's getting smaller and smaller all the time? Yep. There's gold again. There's gold. I'll try and get a close-up picture of it. I'm sure there's a lot more of it than is showing up. There's just a few flakes popping out there. I'm sure there's a lot more of it under the black sand, but I'll try and get a close-up macro picture of that. Show you the intermediate results here. So yeah, so there's the gold. Actually, quite a few little bits showing up there. So it's just a matter of continuing this gentle washing process, getting rid of more and more of the black sand and leaving the gold behind until you've got, you know, mostly gold. And then we can do another little trick to separate the black sand from the gold. I'll show you that too when we get a little further along. But I'm just going to keep this up for now until we get to that point. Okay, I almost forgot. I got my snuffer bottle here, and this has some gold in it too, along with some black sand. I need to clean that up, so we'll just include it in the pan here. And now I've got all the gold together, and I can clean it all up at once and then snuffer up some cleaner gold in the bottle. So let me get back to cleaning up this gold. Alright, now I hear two choppers, so there's something seriously going on out there. But there's oak trees off in that direction, so I can't see them. They're a ways off through the trees, so I can't see whether they're like news choppers, sheriff choppers, life flight. What in the world we got going on? Okay, so I'm going to try something different this time. I'm going to keep washing the black sand back away from the gold until I start seeing gold, which doesn't take long now because we've gotten rid of a lot of the black sand. And once I start seeing gold, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure the water's covering this stuff and then just tap it like this. Hold your hand at one hand at about 9 o'clock and tap it at about 12 o'clock. And what that's going to do is the gold is going to want to move up into that corner of the pan and collect there. So that just segregates the gold all into one place, and then I can continue washing it. And then when I start seeing gold again, I can just tap it back up where I want it. Get the water on it here. It moves better underwater. And then I can continue washing. And see how much black sand I'm going to get rid of here, and the gold's still caught up in there. So that tapping works really good. It's an easy skill to learn, to tap your pan and move the gold around. What you don't want to do is stick your fingers in here and start pushing it around. A lot of beginning panners will do that. Even a lot of experienced ones will do it. And every once in a while, I'll admit, I do it just because there's a particular piece of gold that's being stubborn and I want it in a different place, it's better to suck it up with your snuffer bottle than to stick your fingers in there. Because your body oils on your fingers, if they get on the gold, or if you leave a film of oil on the water from sticking your fingers in there, what'll happen is the gold can float. Especially when it's this fine, this really fine gold, it can float. And then once it starts floating, you're just chasing it all over the pan. You're like chasing your tail. You know, it's very annoying. So you don't want floaty gold. So keep your fingers out of the pan. If you do have to stick your fingers in there, wear a pair of gloves, like latex gloves or something, just to keep your body oils out of there. Oh yeah, we're starting to see a lot of gold now. Especially once I tap it all up into that corner, it gets concentrated up there. I'm sure there's more yet under these black sands. I mean, there's not a huge amount of gold here because I wasn't out on the stream that long because the weather shut me down. But there's a lot of pieces of gold in here. It's just not going to amount to anything. And I know that's not showing up on the video. I will get another picture of that with my phone in macro mode, so, and include that in the video just so you can see all those pieces of gold in there. So it's just a matter of now just tapping the gold up into that corner and very gently washing away the other stuff. You want to be gentle. You don't want to get the gold moving. When the gold is heavy, it'll tend to stay where you put it, as long as you don't slosh the water around too hard. Again, practice. It's like the old joke, hey mister, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. See there, I got a little aggressive and washed a piece of gold down to here. Rather than trying to push it up with the rest of the gold, I'm just going to suck it up with a snuffer bottle. Oh yeah, there's a lot of fine gold under that black sand. A lot more of it is appearing. A whole lot more of it's appearing. Oh yeah. There may be hundreds of pieces of flour gold in here. Now the way some people deal with their concentrates, especially if you have a lot of them and it's full of flour gold, there's a couple more errant pieces I'm just going to suck up here rather than trying to corral them. The way some people deal with their concentrates is they smelt them, you know, or they treat them with mercury to get the gold out. Because separating the gold from this last little bit of black sand is very, very, very tedious and difficult. So unless you've got nuggets or pickers you can pull out, separating this out is just incredibly tedious and difficult. So a lot of people will resort to smelting or treatment with mercury. Get all the gold back in one place again. It's starting to get away from me. I could have sieved this finer. Maybe if I had gone to like an 80 mesh screen, I'd have left behind some of the black sand, but I probably wouldn't have left behind enough of it to really make a difference. I'd still be fighting with this last little bit here, trying to separate it from the gold. Wow. Yeah, there is a lot of super fine gold in there, in that black sand. I'll give you another close-up photo. I see some really, really, really fine gold mixed in with the black sand. I see maybe a piece of wire gold in there too. Let me get another close-up picture of that for you, and suck up a couple of errant grains of gold that have got away. And this may be about as good as I can clean this stuff up. We'll see. So yeah, even with my phone in macro mode, I can't see some of that really fine gold in there. I mean, I can see it with my eye because I'm profoundly nearsighted. If I take my glasses off and get my eyeball right up there, I can see it. One of the few advantages of being profoundly nearsighted. There aren't many. So, you might say, use a magnet. Okay, got a magnet. Watch what happens. Yeah. Okay, I dragged all the magnetic stuff away from the gold. But I can see gold stuck in that magnetic stuff. That's a problem. You're always going to entrain gold in the magnetic portion. But the gold that stayed behind up here at the top, with a little bit of blonde sand and non-magnetic sand, what I can do is I can try and clean it up a little bit. Gently clean it up. And then pull it up with a snuffer bottle and get relatively clean gold that way. Okay, let's see if I can get any more gold out of that. Clean away some more of the blonde sand. Boy, those helicopters, they are just circling around out there. I suppose we'll find out on the news what in the world is going on. Oh yeah, there's a lot of super, super fine gold there. There's just dots of it here, 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 all over the place. It is so super fine. That's what I was seeing out on the creek, was that the gold was, for the most part, super, super fine. You know, tiny, tiny little fly speck stuff. But of course now I've still got the gold that was entrained in the magnetic stuff. I can clean it up a little bit. I could suck it up with the snuffer bottle, or at least separate it from the bulk of the magnetic stuff. You'll never get your concentrates 100% clean unless you resort to like mercury or smelting or something like that, but you got to have a significant amount of it to make it worthwhile, you know. And who knows when I'll get back out on the stream again. It may be a long time. I don't have enough concentrates to worry about it, and I've got a little bit of free time, so I'll just try cleaning them up as best I can this way. Well, let me see if I can get any more gold out of this stuff. Get it all in the snuffer bottle. Then we'll dump the snuffer bottle in here and look at the total amount of gold we got. Certainly I'm not getting rich. That's pretty obvious looking at this, but you know, it was a lot of fun. And if I had been able to stay out on the stream for a little while longer, I might have got a significant amount of gold, even if it's tiny flower gold. But hey, you know what? I know where to dig next time, all right? I know where to dig next time. Where I was finding this stuff. All right, so let me get this, finish cleaning this up, and we'll look at the take, the total take. Okay, I think I got everything snuffered up that I could get snuffered up in the bottle. So let's take a look at the total gold take here. I'm sure there's still some black sand in here, but you can't ever separate it 100% without using other techniques. And there's a lot of little bits of gold in here. There's a lot of little bits, and little is the operative word there. Okay, let me get a close-up photo of this so you can see what we got here. Alright, so that's cleaning up my concentrates. Yeah, I definitely didn't get rich, but had a lot of fun. And you know what? If my wife had been with me and the weather had held out, you know, two of us digging, screening, and sluicing, you know, if we'd spent the whole day on that one spot rather than getting run off after an hour or two, we could have got 10 or 15 times as much gold and had 10 or 15 times as much fun. So it's just the luck of the draw, kind of, you know? And 10 or 15 times as much gold starting to become a significant amount of gold. So, yeah. Especially if we can be out there for a couple, 3 days, we might do that in the future. Can't wait to get back to Fairplay again, because I know where to dig now. I know where the gold is. Took me a while to find it, but I know where it is now. So, yeah, we'll get out there someday and we'll do it again. Anyway, I hope you found this video interesting, educational, inspirational, fun, made you want to get out on the river and get some of your own gold. Give the video a thumbs up, give it a like, and subscribe to see my future videos. And press the little bell icon YouTube wants you to press to be notified when new videos come out. Now the chopper's flying right over now. As a subscriber, you will be notified when I release a new video if you press that little bell icon. Check out my second channel, Electric Geek 64. There's always good stuff going on over there. Please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon over there too. I would appreciate it. And thanks again for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.